a beautiful episode on your show, our show, the Roundtable. What do we do on the Roundtable? We give you hot topics, heating up the polity. We dissect them, we analyze them, and together we enjoy our time on the show. I don't do this alone. Anytime I'm anchoring, I have two wonderful individuals with me in the studio. To my right, I have Mohammed Lawal, who is joining us for the very second time.
Third time.
Third time, I beg your pardon. I remember I was on, you were on, we were on the show together once. Probably you were with somebody else.
Melanie.
All right then, okay. So with me, the second time, because my brain, I knew, did not disappoint me. The first time he was here with me, it was fantastic. I'm sure we'll have something similar today, if not more. And on my left is the usual, Daniel Anyotoye, the man of the people. Very good afternoon.
I'm not in a political party.
You don't have to be in a political party.
Okay, if you say so, you are looking good.
Your analysis is always for the people.
Of course.
You always stay on the side of the people.
That is what we are meant to do.
So you are a man of the people. You don't have to be in a political party. All right, thank you very much, Daniel and Mohammed, respectively, for joining me on the show. Very quickly, let's dig into what we have for you today. We're talking about the off-cycle elections. Kogi, Imo, and Bayelsa will be x-raying the three states, and what went down. Allegations of rigging, allegations of thuggery, allegations of vote buying. We saw pictures, we saw videos. Some of our correspondents who covered the three different states during the election period some few days ago equally had videos, we had pictures, a lot of this and that, a lot of that and this. And my guys in the studio, I'll be throwing the questions to them, and I'll be talking about the elections in those various states. Let me throw Kogi at you now. And I would love Daniel to take Kogi, but let me throw Kogi at you. Yeah. A whole lot happened. From about 10:15 a.m. that morning, result sheets, already written result sheets, was seen on social media. And then at about 12 o'clock, allegations of certain local governments having stuffing of ballot boxes was said to be happening. But Adavi local government final result was 101,000 votes to the APC, and the next person had 1,000, meaning that the Usman Ododo, now the governor-elect, defeated his other opponents in that local government with 100,000 votes.
1,000.
Kogi election. Please dissect it for me.
Of course, I think we need to know. It is obvious that Kogi state election is usually like that since inception. If you are familiar with Kogi election, usually you have violence. You have vote buying, ballot snatching, and all other things that could mar election in the states. And don't forget that during the time of Uduangwan, I wrote Akoti, Nathaniel Akoti, Natasha Akoti, thank you. You see that the ladies' election that was cancelled at a particular point, later we got to know that the lady, rightly won the election. You understand? So this is to tell us that, I'm sorry to say, I'm not even sorry to say, because this is a national issue, so we should be very assertive if we are saying the right thing. I think the state, the APC themselves, they have shown that they like to to turn things to their own gain. You understand? They like to turn things to their own gain. It is, you see that again, that in the states, the will of the people is not manifesting. The will of the people is not manifesting. This, by the will of the people, so? Yeah, it's not manifesting. Had it been the will of the people is manifesting, you would have seen a kind of election that there is balance in the voting system. You understand? Why will a person have 100,000 to 1,000 in the states? Why will a person, you see that even the SDP candidates, sorry to say, some people even allege that the man is working for APC, that he is on the ballot to destroy the election for other contestants. You understand? And you could see the comedian, they call him supposedly the alleged comedian, that is Dino Milaye. He was screaming for the cancellation of the election because he's one of them. He knows how they operate. He understands the Midas touch during election. You understand? That is why for him to have, don't forget that he didn't vote.
But I think about screaming for cancellation. Yeah. All the guys that lost did that.
No.
In Bayelsa,
not even. No,
there was noise from the opposition.
Definitely.
In Kogi, there was noise from the opposition.
But Kogi own.
In Imo, there was also noise. It looks like the opposition will always be angry.
Kogi's own was, it was instant. At the beginning of the election, I think 3 hours to the commencement of the election, that was when he shouted that no, because he has seen it. You understand? When PDP was in power as well, in different states, we saw that they were also, exacting, there's this exactitude of that power to show that we are the one in power. You understand? And don't forget that if a state or if a party is in power, they have that 99%, apt to change things in that particular scene. You understand? So I think we are still lagging. We are still lagging when it comes to, conduct of free, fair election in Nigeria. And the people on their own part too, they need to come out to show character. When I mean character, why will you be, trading your own future for a meager amount of money?
I'm sorry now, let me quickly come in. Have you covered elections before, Mohammed?
Yeah, I have not, but I think I have covered election behind the, what should I call it, front end?
On the field, on the streets.
No, I've not.
All right, because a few things that I've seen,
yeah,
from my experience, it is these people, the electorate, that will be saying we are not voting if you don't give us money.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me quickly move over to Daniel here. Daniel, Mohammed said the APC was taking everything for themselves, and that was also what the PDP did when they were the ruling party. Also, Daniel said there was a lot of, in local parlance now, he didn't use these exact words, but I'm using it, mago, controversy, catastrophe, chaos, and so much more. Do you agree with him, Daniel?
Yes, I absolutely agree, because the elections in Nigeria has always been taking these similar paths in the last since we got independence. There has always been this issue of Nigeria. I don't think we have really gotten it right with with our electoral process. I would say that because if we say people are voting and at the same time we are trying to induce the same voters, then do we really think that is the vote? And like I always say, you don't impoverish people. What a common man wants is how he's going to make his daily income, how he's going to eat, take care of the family. Especially those that are not, forgive me, are not literate enough. Well, you can't present money to them in the face of an election and they will tell you they won't collect it. So the problem lies with our political actors. Let them ensure that they have elections. We have elections that is transparent and that is free, truly free and fair, but they will not. Because every one of them, they are looking for how they will ensure that they remain in power for those that are in power, and those that are not in power are looking for how they will get there. And of course, the ball keeps rolling round and round whenever we are having election. So, like these same elections, I'm not surprised the outcome. I'm not surprised what happened in Kogi, what happened in Imo, and what happened in Bayelsa, because this is something that we have really been...
I think we're just picking in one after the other now. We are talking Kogi. Okay, now, looking at the performances of the major actors and the major political parties, how do you think, what do you think of Alhaji Ajaka's display on the day? He came second at a point when INEC was uploading on their site. He was even the one leading before they uploaded, everything. Yes. And then people were thinking perhaps it's SDP's time. Perhaps he was formerly of the APC. Many persons did not think he had such a pull. Look at what he did with a relatively unknown party.
The truth is, whenever you have a certain of a candidate, when you have 3 options like that, especially when you have 4 runners and all that, like we have President Bola Tinubu doing the presidential, we have Peter Obi, and we have Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. People are already seeing options, and majorly people who always want to have situations where they want a neutral person to come on board to do a different thing, and that's what usually happens within the mindset of the people. But again, the calculation, the hula baloo arrangements with the candidates and the politicians sometimes gives that difficulty to be able to actualize that position. And if you can't actualize that position, then you begin to see what we have with Ajaka coming second. And really, I was at a point looking at how Dino Melaye would have come a distant third, not just third, a distant third, having such a low figure. Of course.
Did you see that coming?
It's no. In fact, my mindset was a second.
No, sorry, Daniel. Did you see Dino Melaye coming ridiculously third? Because third is different. I mean, ridiculously third
Serious
in that election.
I think we should know that for him to have garnered, such amount of votes, was shocking to a lot of people, because people, we weren't expecting him to even be the third person. You understand? We were thinking he's not going to garner any amount of vote at all. You understand? You cannot.
I mean, that result was even shocking.
Even having I think about 72,000.
You didn't expect him to get that number.
He tried, to be honest. He tried.
Are you serious?
He tried, of course.
Seriously, but this young man is a popular figure.
He's
a of course, PDP.
You understand that politics is not all about popularity.
Of course.
It has to do with grassroots impact or grassroots publicity. You understand? He's known on social media for his foolery. You understand? He's always basking in foolery. By showing us.
Isn't that too harsh?
It's not harsh. You understand? It's not harsh because all of his luxuries. You can't come from a place where you have about 95% of people who are, who are poverty stricken. You understand? You can't come from a village or from a place or from a constituency where you have bad roads, poor electricity, poor, pipeline water, all of those things all together. And you're out there.
And you're showing up.
Yeah, you're showing up. This guy has cars.
Mohammed, are you from Kogi?
I'm not from Kogi. Okay. But I'm from Nigeria. I'm in Nigeria.
Because you were so sad. You said that was even shocking.
It's very shocking. You understand? Most people, have described him to be, a kind of politician, a comic politician. Some people even termed him to be a comic aspirant. You understand? Because it is funny when for instance, when you see Mr. Ibu contesting against Uzodimma.
No. Yeah. All right. Very, very quickly now, let's move over to the Bayelsa election. And I'm going to talk about what many persons did not talk about at all. I'm not even talking about PDP. I'm not talking about Temi Praye Silva. I'm not talking about the APC. I'm talking about the school that the governor voted. Did you see those pictures, Daniel? Did you see those pictures? Yeah. The school the governor voted, Governor Dorodi, had no roof in many parts. That was not just the village of the governor, but the direct constituency of the governor. I mean, you are supposed to vote close to your village, close to your father or mother's house or your house. And the school the governor of Bayelsa State voted was in a primary school where those pictures were everywhere. For me, it was bigger than the election. It was far bigger than who was winning the election. It's like what happened in the gubernatorial election in March, where the Ogun State governor was going to his polling unit and he was avoiding water. Go and look at the video. It was posted on the page of the governor himself. If it has not been taken out of his official page. I mean, there was water, he was avoiding it, his men were. I mean, for me, that was the story. As a development journalist, that was my story. The governor of Bayelsa was voting in a room, in a classroom, and some students definitely will resume in that school today, or Monday. Are they out of? I don't think they are. School is still in session. That's where they learn. That's where they go to classes. Now, away from the elections now, Daniel, are we driving development as the political class driving a development at all? Because people will come into that place to vote. Now, that was what we saw. We do not know what was happening in other places or other schools.
The question is, are we driving the political class rather driving development? And my answer is just simply no. They are there. Majority of them are there for their pockets and their families and their cronies. And it's clear from what all indication, because if the governor, I believe he will see that, it's an indication of a failed government, a failed governor. and a failed system. If the governor himself could go to a place and vote and see that the school that is voting does not have a roof. Now, what happens to other schools that is not voting? What happens? So it is clear that he has failed, even if he won the election. Good, congratulations. But the reality is clear that a governor that is expected to rule the next 4 years has even failed even from his own constituency. So it's clear. It is a public show of shame that they should be concerned of. But I'm very sure they must have not, they will still ignore that and not do anything about it. In the next 4 years, that school may still remain the way the school is. So what are we saying? And that is why, my brother, see, we are supposed to have a certain level in this country where if it's a law that will be made or something that will be made, that any government that is seen or found wanting, they don't need to go to the to run for a re-election. If you have seen that this government has failed, clearly there should be a law, a regulation that will just strike them and out from not being able to participate in the election, because it's clear.
We operate under a constitution.
That's it, Nigeria constitution, and there have been several calls for a review of the so-called constitution.
Our constitution.
Our constitution. We don't have any
choice. The United States are using it and it's working well. So it's not about, for me, I don't think.
No. We can debate that right now. We can debate that. You can't compare the United States with Nigeria. How old is the United States?
The question is,
how old is Nigeria?
Sorry. The question is it the same? Is it the same constitution?
Oh no, you said it.
Is it? That's what I'm asking. Is it not the same constitution?
The same constitution.
Even if you are,
it is the persons that are operating it that are operating theirs differently.
Even if you're operating the same constitution. I told you something. I think the first time I came to this set, I told you that a university in the USA, the budget of a university in the USA is, is bigger than the budget Nigeria as a country. And now in the year you can see that.
Anyway, back to our matters very quickly now. Still on Imo. Now, Imo election, you saw what happened. The incumbent party remained. In fact, in the 3 elections, the incumbent party remained. We are out of Bayelsa now, very quickly. Hope Uzodinma, did you see that result?
It was massive.
It was what they see on the streets. Street parlance, we say loud. It was loud. Do you think Hope Uzodinma is that accepted, or did he just find his way around the political class?
Of
because
course,
that was what they call finishing. It was. It showed critically well that he was definitely loved from what we saw from the results.
Yeah, I think that is it at the surface level. You understand, and we have the deep level. But the deep level is something that is not, known to most of us. But let us look at something. You see that there have been cases of allegation that the governor, has been doing a lot of things to bar other political parties in the state so that they won't be able to, do something tangible during the election. You understand? And don't forget that in Imo State, in the southeast, the leading political party, the waving political party is the Labour Party. You understand? And to some extent, the PDP. You understand? So I was shocked because I was in contact with the Shaman Labour Party, and there was this assurance that the Labour Party is going to, win the election. You understand? Even given by the, provided by the, same party, that was being, bedecked on the candidate of the Labour Party. That is Ashonu. That is Ashonu. That is the candidate. Yeah. Thank you. You understand? But when we saw the results, everybody were gobsmacked that what is this? You understand? So there's nothing we want to say to that than we know what really happened. You understand? We all know that at the deep level there are some political gimmick that were being played. But what do we have to say? This is Nigeria.
Are you saying he didn't win that election?
Yeah, he won at the surface level. But at the deep level, we understand the wave of the Igbo people. Igbo people, Igbo electorates, they are people who are, who have this kind of zeal, this kind of burning fire in them.
But we know many persons who supported the Labour Party in the presidential election just a few months ago and supported Hope Uzodinma of the APC in this.
But for instance, people like Obi Kubana did not support Peter Obi. They supported Tinubu. and they still supported Obi Kubana. Yeah, he was there during.
Are you talking about the chief priest?
Yeah, he was there.
Okay, there are two different people now.
Yeah.
To avoid
okay. Sorry, chief priest rather.
Yeah.
Sorry, thank you so much for that correction.
I saw him leading the campaign.
Yeah, he was there. You understand? You get it.
But that's what I'm saying. That certain persons that went this way during the presidential.
I didn't. When I saw the results initially, when I saw where the man is having, the governor is having 400 to 1 vote, 600 to 0 vote, 1,000 to 26 votes. I just left. I did not even read anything about it again. I was just focusing on Kogi, you understand? To tell you that there are a lot of...
Anyway, for me, I think it's the beauty of democracy. As long as political decisions are made, within the ambit of the law, for me, that is the most important thing. You can have 150 to 3, you can have 190 to 5, as long as the democratic process that is bringing you in as a governor is clear and clean, you can be that popular. It's possible. We've had people who are that popular. What we are against is when you are twisting the will of the people against them, when you are sending thugs, when you are sending cash. Look at the evidences. Look at the evidences that abound. I mean, they said there was a story of 1.5 million being seized from people who wanted to go and get involved in vote buying. There was a video from our correspondent in Kogi of some individuals who are working aimlessly on election day, trying to mobilize in quotes now for a certain political party and for a certain candidate and all sorts. Hopefully these things will be a thing of the past in our country, because we can't wait for it to be clear and be completely clear. Very quickly move to the next topic on the line, and we'll be talking about the NLC TUC strike saga. It all began recently in Imo, where the president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Mr. Joe Ajero, was beaten. I mean, they said he was kidnapped at first, and then he was beaten. We saw pictures of his eyes heavy. He was also in a vehicle in a video. It looked like they were taking him against his will. And then the NLC in Imo went on strike, and then they said on the 14th of November they were going to go on a national strike. The strike did happen in Abuja. It was really tough. Yesterday, it continued again. But yesterday night, the NLC said they had a meeting with the NSA, National Security Advisor, Malam Uribadu, who had sweet words with them, and they called it off. For the meantime, we have to also have that. Daniel, what is happening? NLC and TUC had been on the side of the people. From when the president made his speech, fuel subsidy is gone on the 29th. They came threatening. Life was getting difficult for Nigerians. They were fighting for Nigerians. What was going to be done? The subsidy was removed, and therefore life was becoming unbearable for the people. And then the government said, okay, no, we are going to bring palliatives. From May 29 up till date, we did not go on strike. And then somebody said their president got beaten, and then Zoom, they moved into strike mode. This strike happened for 48 hours. Was he out of selfishness, or was he out of love for the people?
Well, the major way to make demands and make a show of aggression as far as NLC and other labor union is concerned is through strike. And I believe that this strike had to be shown, to be held, to show aggression for the beating of their president. It's an insult on the apex labor union for you to beat up the #1 worker in Nigeria. It's an insult. In fact, I believe that those that carried out that incident should be ashamed of themselves, because this is a person that is always clamoring along with the union that this is what we want to do for Nigerians. Now, on the aspect whether it is selfish, okay, the fact that they went on strike, either for the purpose that it was meant for or for the beating, is enough to show that NLC, the labor union in the country, they are angry. Now, what we now need to now consider is the timing. When should they have had this strike? When Nigerians were suffering, everybody was crying, the issue of food. In fact, currently, not even when, it's still ongoing. Hardship is ongoing. The hardship, the fuel issues, and all that, they did not go on strike. But this man went to Imo State, proud to the election of the state. Okay, your matter and national matter. Exactly. If you allow me to, you are not Imo chairman. So going to Imo during the period of election, what is it for?
Partisanship? Did you not show partisanship?
So what is it for? Why did you decide to go to Imo at that present time? Why not go after? Not to forget that the Imo state governor, before the election, was being given one award or the other by one group or the other even before the election, which also translates to something. Now, the NLC president now decided to now also go to Imo during this period. NLC did not give the governor any award. But what is the essence of it? Is it as an opposition to the governor that, okay, we are in opposition to you, we will not forgetting that the NLC there also went on rally. So all these things connected. I would have suggested that even if the NLC would have gone on a protest during the period of this election, the president shouldn't have been there. You should have allowed the chapter to handle their matter
themselves, even if your hand is there from afar.
Yes. So, and I think that is the reason why they had to do the issue of adopting him and beating him up.
I feel that
was it was wrong. So,
I'm sorry,
but Ogatu would have stayed
I don't think we've
at
seen
his base.
The NLC, any NLC presidents, I mean, in recent time,
even
Adams Oshiomhole was known to be fighting for the people. This one was more like you got involved in a matter that, you know, there was no sympathy.
Yes, there was no. That's it.
Very quickly, Mohammed.
Yeah.
This NLC strike.
Yeah.
I mean, why did they go on strike for 1 day and a half? I mean, okay, we can count 15th yesterday as well. Why did they? What was it? What was that for? What's going on?
I'll be taking a very, different position from Mr. Anyanto. You understand? So I think all of these associations, organizations in Nigeria today, they are now interfering. They are now jeopardizing, the badge or the badges of all these organizations. I mean, all these organizations that are known, that are known to be a kind of system that fights against the, oppression, subjugation, marginalization, ostracization of the government. You understand? Now, they have become a ridiculous tools. You understand? A ridiculous systems.
Like a puppet.
Like a puppet. They don't see them as anything again. For someone like Adam Oshiomhole, that was the former chairman of the NLC, to have mentioned that E.J. Alero, I mean the present, the present NLC president or chairman should not, he should not mix their, their motion or motive of the system with politics. You understand? And what he has done is political. You understand? Which Mr. Anyanto has also mentioned. And I think we have to understand that all of these people who are the head of these pressure groups, you understand, they are not, fighting for the cause of the youth. You understand? I call them, they are baby boomers, of course. You understand? I think it is high time, we started coming out there to take, to start handling all of these groups so that they could, fulfill what they should do at this particular point in time. For instance, look at this very critical time, because I'm sorry, beating him is very bad. You understand? Putting that is a reputable figure in the society. But on the other hand, why will you jeopardize? You know that the country is in a critical economic situation.
And you are a major stakeholder. Your voice is to be heard on the part of the
Thank
people.
You. For that 1 day, do you know how much Nigeria will lose?
Of course.
We lose rather.
Of course.
How much Nigeria will lose?
Of course.
And you are the same person who is clamoring that the government should increase the salary of these people. Where should the government get money from if you are disrupting the activities of the country in a day? You understand?
So you are against the protest?
I'm against the protest, one. And secondly, is TUC, I know TUC is part of NLC, but is TUC directly a subsection or a subsector of NLC?
Yeah, a sister union.
Yeah.
Sister president.
We are a sister union, TUC, and again, it is funnily enough, I heard that ASU also joined, or they are about joining.
ASU joined.
Is ASU joining, imagine.
They are workers.
They are workers too, but however, joining, there are some students who are writing exams. Do you know how many people who are supposed to, who are supposed to serve, that these intermittent, these sporadic strike, affects. You understand? I think all of these things has to, they have to put all of these things into consideration before embarking on, on sporadic strike or strike that are not.
So you are saying this one was not well planned?
It was not well planned.
It was selfish.
Yeah. On the other,
this was selfish.
It was selfish. Very. It is selfish.
It was not, they were not fighting for the people.
It's not. This one is not for the people. I wasn't. I'm sorry to say, I wasn't beaten. You understand? That is something between. That is Imo State. Imo State is a state on its own. You understand? It is not Lagos State. It is not Kaduna State. This is just a state on its own. You can't just say, okay, for instance, since they have been striking, of course, consistent strike, has been helping the country. You understand? If not for strikes, you understand, the country wouldn't have been going well, or we wouldn't have been shaking. We wouldn't have check and balances in the country. But however, we have to put our brain to get things right before we start, taking awkward decisions. You understand?
All right. Here you had it from the man himself, Mohamed Lawal, saying that this strike was quite selfish. It was in the interest of the leadership of the NLC and not the people, and that the beating or the bashing of the NLC president, Mr. Joe Ajero, was solely the fault of the man himself. That was according to Mohamed Lawal. Daniel Ayotoye's view, however, is different. He says that it was pro masses, it was pro labor, it was pro people, despite the fact that it was just a little over one day, I think 1.5 or 2 days, because now it has been suspended. We do hope that NLC and the federal government will come to concrete terms this time around, because one moment they are threatening, the next moment they are in a meeting, the next moment they are saying,
it was funny yesterday.
Expect us to give a press release.
You went to make nobody. They were laughing. You saw the video. They were laughing. But you in your house, you are crying on how to buy gari, how to get rice. At the point, and they are there. They are laughing. Even I can tell you that during all of their sittings, whenever they have to meet, there is a particular amount of money that is budgeted for these people. Is that confirmed? It's not confirmed. I'm just saying. I'm just guessing. You understand? As a guess estimate,
It's better we just remain on
guessing. You understand? So.
But one thing is certain, though, that the strike has been called off. They met with the NSA, the National Security Advisor, in person of Malam Nuhu Ribadu, and they said he had an agreement with them, and that the strike has been called off. For now, it is important to have that, because that was what they said. We move now to the last topic, which is the sanctity of our electoral process. We've spoken about the elections. We've spoken about what went wrong. This time around, we are exploring how we can move to the promised land as regarding our elections. It happened in February. Allegations of this, allegations of that, beatings, vote buying, and all sorts. The next election after February was November. It was more of a repeat of February and March, the presidential and the gubernatorial election. I'll start with you, Mohammed. What is the true solution, and how do we get it right? You won't just give me theory. You walk me round the roots of practicability.
Thank you. I think the only way to get everything right in this country, not if I'm not now how it will, it will be an overall, solution to all of our problems. You understand? It still boils down on the need to ensure that the rate at which poverty in the country is being managed, preserved, and also, sustained. You understand? For instance, when people are not ready to vote, truly, or people are not ready to vote as a matter of truism because of what? Because
personal gains.
You understand? You cannot you cannot tell me that someone who is hungry today, and you get to the poll and you're being given a stashed naira of 20,000, a stashed 20 naira notes. The next thing you do is you tuck it in your pocket and you do as they say. You understand?
A friend of mine asked a question on the election day and posted and said, people are just shouting that if they point 20,000 naira, like you said, stashed, they point it at you and say, give it to YYY party.
Agana, like the Yoruba will say.
Oh, Agana. And they give it to you and they say YYY political party or XYZ.
Again, look at it again. I'm sorry to cite the example of the LP supporters, voters. See, most of them, they have been, I won't say shouting. I think that would be very harsh. I would say they have been, screaming, not screaming, clamoring,
clamoring is better.
Yeah, criticizing, the system, APC, PDP, and so on. That they have been the one, plunging the country into poverty and all of sorts. You understand? But look at them. The present president Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he has given some of the key members of this party, he has given them appointments. You understand? For instance, Bosun Tijani,
he was not a member of the Labour Party.
He's not a member of the Labour Party, but he supports the ideology of Labour Party before the election. That is why you see that on Twitter, as at yesterday, he was still being criticized when he uploaded the picture of a video of the president. It is not that we know for them, to have focused on him. People, for instance, now people didn't say anything about Gimba Kakanda. You understand, when he was giving an essay to the president or something. Yeah. A lot of them, you understand.
Yeah, he works with the vice president.
So nobody is saying anything about them.
But I don't think Gimba was of the Labour Party.
It was. I'm just telling you that. I'm just trying to tell you that.
Okay, nobody attacked.
They won't attack because they know where he belongs already. You understand? But why are they attacking Bosun Tijani?
Because he was on that
and some of them as well. You understand? Look at the
one lawyer.
And now you understand. So to tell you, the thing is that it still boils down to the root, and the root is, castigating poverty. Let us take poverty away. You understand? When there is limitation of poverty, people will surely, when we are not hungry, when you do your work and you get a good pay, when you have a good money, you go there, you cast. For instance, look at the election. Look at the election at the Bodilon. We have rich people there. You understand? They were fighting to say, we are voting LP, Labour Party. It's because they are well fed. You understand? They have money. But there's a place in sorry to say, there's a place in Badagry. I won't be disclosing it. In Badagry there. When you see them, you give them money. This place, these are people languishing in poverty. Abject poverty. You understand? Deep one. You understand?
Serious one.
Just go there. I hope you saw the branded rice of APC that were being shared amongst them. They collected and they were voting for people. You understand? I also witnessed some people. For instance, there was this a ballot box I wear where I went to vote. Rather, the poll I went to vote. I saw some people who were there. An Igbo man was sharing money to them. You understand? They were collecting, they were voting. You understand? So I think the root is poverty, even if we don't have poverty again. And there is need to upgrade and to invest in the educational system of the country. You understand? You get educational system.
So you think educated persons won't collect monies?
Yeah, they won't collect it. For instance,
educated persons,
they won't. For instance, the problem they're having in the north today, you understand, is because most of them.
Please,
I'm sorry to say.
Mohammed, what goes down in the north that doesn't happen here politically?
Yeah, politically,
what goes down in the north?
You cannot compare the level at which people are being manipulated to follow a particular voting pattern to what we do here. You understand?
I mean, what is the difference between the north and the south politically? That's what I'm asking. You said education, so I'm wondering what they are doing differently. They were doing differently.
That
one party has
but you will agree with me that
Lagos has the most number of literates in Nigeria. I guess.
But I'm telling you that
So what? Sorry, very quickly, Daniel.
Yeah.
He said it's about literacy. I mean, what do we do down south that is not being done up north politically? What is the difference between us politically? Politically now.
Politically, you can't cite.
When PDP was winning, they won in the north, they won places in the south.
Yes.
When the APC came on board, the same thing.
I think you can't. It has to do with the people and the mindsets of people.
So
you can't.
We have a different mindset here.
You can't cite an example, one example as, and use it to generalize the entire Southwest.
Lagos State. I'm asking the question. I said, what's the ideological political difference between the north and the south of
the
Nigeria?
Northern part of this country? You know that, of course, that there are always, it's easy to kind of sway them by an individual that, okay, this is the path that we are going.
I think they are even more politically savvy.
Okay, yes, in your opinion.
Because if they say no, they reflect it on the ballot.
Because
the challenges we have, okay, is not just about being political savvy. It's about, one, you mentioned it, poverty, the poverty level. And people really, no matter the region you are from, you find yourself adjusting based on what you have and based on what you want. A lot of people really, they find it difficult to adjust themselves to think straight when they lack things. For example, no matter the level of the education of a person, once there is lack, then the tendency of being falling a prey to incentives become a thing that is possible. So it is very important we also note that, however, for us to be able to leave this narrative and move to where we are expected to be and where we are looking forward to be, that is having a good political structure, political system in place, we need to understand that, one, like he said, you have to strike out poverty. Then people need to begin to change the mindset. The political class.
Sorry, Daniel. Very quickly, let's talk about INEC. Look at what happened in this election. They even had lots of security officials taken down to the 3 states. Commissioner of police here and there, security. You know, just 3 elections, just 3 states, for God's sake. It wasn't even the entire 36 plus Abuja. And you expected that, okay, we have enough military guys, we have enough police guys, we have enough, enough security guys to just take care of those 3 states. Still, we had complaints. INEC brought Beavers on board at a point, and it was the people knew, oh, it reduced rigging to a very good extent. Because look at the 23 presidential elections, we didn't have the usual bogus numbers. The KKK states, the this, the that. It was meme. Everything was reduced to a certain extent. Now, what was just used in 2023 presidential election was majorly intimidation of voters and vote buying. We did not have this 100,000 to 1,000. So how are these guys bypassing? Are they bypassing INEC, or are some people in INEC colluding with them, or is it scientific system that was used to eliminate forgery? To eliminate the scientific system that was used to eliminate rigging? Has it been bypassed? Are they doing something that INEC? Are they ahead of INEC? Is the political class ahead of INEC?
You will not compare this election to that of 2019, because of course I will say that there is an improvement with this election because there was a lot of preparation.
Yeah.
And again, don't forget that if you follow the global best practices, the standard of a police to the people, the number is not actually what we have. And this again shows us the lopsidedness of that policy, of that system.
But we had a ground for these 3 states.
Yes, that is because
so what happened?
We had enough police, and of course, and that's why we had a reduced level of these things that you're saying. With no experience with no experience it like we had in 2019. There were a lot of killings in Kogi, a lot of this and that in Kogi in 2019. But with this election, it's a different case. We were just hearing about a few. So I think for you, there was an improvement, and this also tells us that we need to also help and support the security system. Don't forget that without credible information from the community, it will be difficult for the security agencies to tackle this crime, to tackle these issues. So it's very important that you and I, those that will be in the system, to be able to provide information. But don't forget that if you are in a system where you are about to vote,
watching while they brought out result sheets in Ogo, the one local government that they postponed the election to the next day in Kogi, and one man was talking to the core member there who served as INEC official, saying he should not be a part of this, don't collude with them and all that. And then a police officer was there watching, and then they brought out written result sheets with civic society members too, and organizations were posting online, tweeting out we are experiencing rigging in so the local government, we are experiencing rigging in so local government, so is happening. But our security officials did not see that. The
highest that policeman can do is to relay the information, to send the information of what is happening to his boss.
Okay.
To the organ at the top, and wherever they are, to send the information to them. Don't forget that if that man does end otherwise, he may have a mob situation on his hands. So the best thing he can do is to just stand, watch, give the necessary information. Because don't forget, any of these security personnel can go to the polling booths, secure the polling booth with guns there. Yes, they can be patrolling, doing all the movement around, but those that will be in that polling unit, you cannot be there with weapons.
All right. I think it's also important to give kudos to INEC. Reason being that for the Kogi election particularly, they came out to counsel for certain states. and postponed the election till Sunday. I said states, certain local governments and postponed the election till Sunday. About 5 or so local governments, but certain persons came out to say this should have been done earlier in the day because the election is not holding that place at all. They are just writing results and all that. But we do hope that INEC they properly check what happened in the 3 states. They go home, look through, study, and look for improvements because now again we can't continue on the same path. We must eliminate these challenges. Are we improving? I think I'll say yes. Because coming from where we used to be in the past, 2003 about Gobadia, 2007 Maurice Iwu, and I think 2011 was by Professor Athayu Jega. I think he also did 15 as well, then 19 of course. We've been monitoring it from then, some of us who have been around from that time, and from the past we also had certain things, how it used to go down. Even from 79 there were allegations of rigging, allegations of all sorts that happened at the time. We just hope that INEC charts a way forward for the political future of observing elections in this country. Thank you very much to my guests, Daniel Ayantoye to my left.
Thank you for having me.
The man of the people, Mohamed Lawal.
Thank you for having me.
The man who says it the way it is. Thank you very much to the guys behind the scenes, pressing the right buttons and doing the right things. They are currently being led by Sulaiman Adeni. I can see Lekon Latunji as well in the building. And yes, I can see Ganil as well in the building. Margaret Osazua is somewhere hiding as well. Thank you very much for being a partner in progress for this beautiful show. The roundtable comes your way next week Thursday once again. My name is Sheikh Modan and saying have yourselves a fantastic Thursday. And as the weekend begins tomorrow, do not be weekend by the weekend. Bye for now.
Today in history. On Tuesday, November 8, 1864, Northern voters overwhelmingly endorsed the leadership and policies of President Abraham Lincoln when they elected him for a second term. With his re-election, any hope for a negotiated settlement with the Confederacy vanished. On Tuesday, November 8, 1960, John F. Kennedy, aged 43, became the youngest man ever to be elected President of the United States of America, narrowly beating Republican Vice President Richard Nixon. He was also the first Catholic to become president. On Tuesday, November 8, 1994, 59% of California voters approved Proposition 187, banning undocumented immigrants from using the state's major public services. Despite its wide margin of victory, the ballot measure never took effect.